Welcome to Fraudville, the home of frauds, people, and wrestling fans. Just kidding. Welcome to the Weekly Armchair Sports Talk, everybody, where we have a big show for you. Actually, we've got two. We have two shows, depending on how you grasp it in your heads. But
There
of
could
course,
be three shows, depending on if you're a fan of that third one.
we might be a triple main event that actually doesn't work. But we're going to slaughter that very shortly. Well, I'm going to slaughter it especially. But of course, welcome to the weekly Steel Chair. Back on a Saturday, and it's the weekly Armchair Sports Talk. If you haven't subscribed, get on it now. End of discussion. It's me, the host, my co-host beside me, Eilidh. Welcome back to the show, of course, our show. We have 3 pay-per-views to discuss in an hour and a bit. But we've got a decent show for you, and then we also have a follow up afterwards that's going to be as Night of Champions begins. But before we even get to that, the pleasantries. How are you?
Doing all right, yeah. I'm varying degrees of excited for these shows tonight, across different matches and across different companies and across different shows. All 3 giving me different sort of sensations. But no, it's been a good week. It's been one of those weeks where, and I suppose this is a good sign, because I knew there was a lot of wrestling this weekend. It's felt like something I had to earn. So, like, across the week, I don't know if other people are like this, but you've got the wrestling events coming up at the end of the week. So you like all the work you do through the week, you're just trying to get to the weekend because that's where the wrestling is, and that's how I feel. So at least part of me is somewhat optimistic for something somewhere, and we will find out exactly what that is as we discuss it. But I'm doing all right. How are you doing, Reece?
I'm actually quite good, thank you. It's been a decent week. Got through a lot. Obviously, watched the football throughout. Caught up with a bit of wrestling. I watched Under Siege last night for Impact, which is a very good show. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And now, obviously, 3 shows this weekend. And the good thing is, though, is I don't have to force myself to decide on which one to watch because it's bank holiday weekend. Now, obviously, I have after our previous show, I do have a quiz to finish. I thought I'd finished it, but I hadn't, so that'll be getting finished for tomorrow. Live on my channel. This is just for any football fans who like football quizzes. Devil's Rising YouTube channel tomorrow is just a quick cheap plug to everyone else. If you like football quizzes, I do have one tomorrow. If anyone wants to get involved, yourself included, Eilidh, if you want to get involved, it's live on my channel tomorrow at 7:30. So that's just our routine, like fun quiz, just to end the season. We may as well.
Fair enough.
But I thought I'd also make that public to everyone else as well, in case anyone wants to do that. Just let me know. But all in all, I'm actually not so bad. Actually, good week. And the only thing though is just my typical back. It's the only thing that slows me down. But I'm still good. And happy for football.
You're still fit and firing, is what you're saying, and
yeah,
we're hoping that WWE is firing tonight as well. Or
absolutely.
Today, but it still qualifies as night because the Night of Champions is finally here. Roman Reigns celebrates 1,000 days as the tribal chief, the head of the table, the undisputed Universal Champion. And on that same night, we are crowning a new World Heavyweight Champion.
Yes, we
There's been
are.
a bit of fury in the group chat. I imagine a lot of fury outside of the group chat because it has been confirmed.
And I did tell you as well.
Subject to change, etc. But it has been confirmed that the World Heavyweight Championship match will open tonight's card.
Absolutely. And we've been confirmed the reason why it's opening. The reason that this match will open is because Seth Rollins, after this match, will be flying directly back to the United States because obviously he's got a film commitment. But it has raised a question. And this is the thing that's really annoying me, right? Because I keep seeing this all over social media. And this is why I know wrestling fans at times are very fickle. Because Seth Rollins has to fly back, right? I technically called this match a long time ago. When they announced this, I said Rollins versus Styles at some point is going to happen. Even if it wasn't in the main event, I called this one, right? But the thing that annoys me, and I want to get your opinion on this, because obviously your opinion I respect a lot and always a very valid bias point. Unbiased, I should say, sorry.
No, my biases are well known, but go ahead.
Depends on where. Depends on where the bias is, but you know what I mean. Seth Rollins, in my opinion, is still the outstanding favourite to win this. But because he is a part-timer, even though he's not a part-timer, this is where my question is going to come to. Do you think they should be smart and put the title on Styles, or still stick with Rollins even though he is the favourite? And do you think Rollins is a part-timer now? So it's a two-part question. Who do you think they should put the title on now, considering this has come out as confirmed? And do you think Rollins is a part-timer? Do you think it's just nonsense? Me personally, I think it's nonsense.
Well, I think if Seth Rollins is a part-timer and the film schedule is impacting, then no, he's absolutely a part-timer and he should not be winning the title. The whole point of having this new champion is the fact that Roman Reigns is part-time. You can't fix that by having another part-time champion. That doesn't work. We need an ever-present. And regardless, I think I would still give it to AJ over Seth Rollins. I mean, obviously, even if this film schedule isn't so heavy, I think we're almost burnt out a bit on Seth Rollins and his whole act. And yeah, fantastic matches, but this character, what's going on with it? You know, why is he still acting like this? Why are we still expected to cheer him when he's acting like this? AJ Styles is a better choice for the babyface world champion that they want.
Interesting. And add on to that, when you look at Styles' last world title run, a lot of people think it wasn't good. A lot of people do because nobody really remembers it because, let's be honest, it proves my point about WWE's booking. At the time, it was crap.
Well,
but when you think about it, he went a full year as WWE champion.
Yeah.
The people that say the run wasn't good, the run was good. The problem is they didn't.
Gender in Manchester,
which is the best thing he ever did.
The champion versus champion match with Brock.
Yep, he did.
Obviously, he couldn't control how the matches when Nakamura went. I doubt his pitch was for it to be all about ball shots.
Exactly.
People forget that outside of all the ball shots, those matches were still good. They weren't like indie good. They weren't as good as they were in New Japan.
But they had a lot to it.
Those guys were younger when that happened, and it's a different company. We weren't going to get the New Japan style match on main roster WWE. And there would always have to be that nonsense element of just stupid storytelling going on. And I don't mean that all storytelling is stupid, but at that point, all main roster storytelling seemed to be quite daft.
I agree with you. I agree.
And then, of course, the Samoa Joe feud. This is the thing. I understand why people say AJ didn't have a good run. But I don't think it was his fault. I think the booking was awful. I think the choice of opponent at times was abysmal. I don't think anyone wanted to see AJ Styles and Samoa Joe on the main roster because Samoa Joe had been used like such a wet dish rag that there was no point.
And we had content creators legit no longer calling him Samoa Joe. They were calling him Samosa Joe.
Yeah, it's no longer. People have lost. Samoa Joe lost everything about him.
The good thing is now is he's in an element that suits him back in Ring of Honor. He's still the Ring of Honor TV champion, well over a year. But he's a legitimate good champion for that. You can see he may not be what he once was in say 2005 to 2009.
Yeah.
But he's working those matches again that actually works for him. So you can see that he's actually back into his element, which is good. But in WWE, he was way out of his element. And it was a shame, really, because at one point, Samoa Joe was a top 3 in the world. He was. Exactly. I don't think anyone can argue that.
No, he would certainly be in the conversation. It just, again, I think it would depend what flavour of wrestling you were after. But No, Samoa Joe was fantastic. But the was is key there. And I don't think he remained fantastic. And part of that, a lot of that, to be honest, probably isn't down to him. I know he got a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
But with injuries, you wonder, okay, is he nursing them correctly? Are WWE diagnosing them correctly? Are we actually looking after the injury? And the problem with a guy who gets injured so often is you wonder what changes when they suddenly don't.
Samoa Joe got very heavy. No disrespect to him. This is not a disrespectful thing to him. Considering what he used to be what, 280 pounds, something like that, 280.
Yeah.
And then after the injuries started to creep in, he went close to 330, which is a
might
shame.
be because in WWE, as a 280 pounder, he looked bigger than that. But what we've lost with an element of sort of modernizing wrestling, we've lost the ability to lie.
That's a good point.
So we couldn't just lie and say he was 320 when he was 280.
Yeah.
He felt the need to actually be 320, 330.
It's like
that's how they wanted to bill him. They wanted to bill him as this like unstoppable sort of massive wrestler. And instead, he's if you go in at 280, you're not necessarily a giant in that world. And WWE wanted another giant or another big man. So I don't think that helped. But in any case, going back to the main topic at hand, are you still back in Seth Rollins, or are you starting to? You mentioned having a change of mind, perhaps even a change of heart.
That's the thing. Is like, I personally don't mind who becomes champion out of these two. I really do not mind, but I'm not going to become a hypocrite all of a sudden and say, "Oh, I now want Styles to win it outright," when I've been saying Seth Rollins since the very beginning, because he's the main guy on Raw. But I don't mind personally who wins this one. Like, whoever wins this makes me happy either way, because they're both credible for the title. But if AJ Styles wins it, fantastic. But I'm still sticking with my original prediction. I've got to be consistent on that one. So I'm still sticking with Seth Rollins, but this is the only match on the card where I don't mind who wins. I really
maintain that there's a real missed opportunity here
Go on.
to give a heel the spotlight of having this main event. Because they didn't turn Seth, and because they won't turn AJ, what we had was a series of triple threats where faces fought faces and heels fought heels, but that was less annoying.
And they didn't know who to go with.
And then they didn't know who to go with. They went with who they went with, and we've ended up with face versus face again. Or, if you want to say Seth's a tweener, I disagree. The crowd
He's
are far
definitely
too
not
into him for him to be a tweener. He hasn't done anything heelish since WrestleMania. Outright heelish, he stomped the Miz to death before WrestleMania, but it was the Miz. No one's going to boo that. It's just, I feel like they missed an opportunity to give Damian Priest this spotlight, not have him win it, but to put him in the final. I feel like Finn Balor could have been in the final of this.
I agree.
If Seth's losing, I don't see why it had to be Seth in the first place.
You would have expected a heel to do it, like Finn Balor.
Exactly.
But they had him in the same crop.
So that if you are, which we imagine we're going to have the face win it, if you are the face and you beat the heel, you would expect the big pop. And if you go with the face to win, surely WWE want the big pop. Instead,
I agree.
They've gone with two faces. I think they'll still get a big pop, but they'll get a big pop either way. I don't know when the fans boo. I suppose one of them could work the match as a heel, but then you've worked a match as a heel and won a title as a face. And if you turn heel in the process of the match, we now have two heel world champions. And that is going to get dull very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's where the questions really do rise and where they're actually going to go with it. So I'm just not down because obviously you know me. I always write down our predictions on paper. You
Yeah,
know how
and
it
we're
goes.
not going to go into huge depth about all of this card. We just want to say that now.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
absolutely.
think
So
I can see them going with Seth. I don't want them to.
I'm sticking with my original. I'm sticking with my original. Got to be consistent. So I'm going with
Yeah,
Seth.
I'm unfortunately switching.
You're going
I'm
AJ.
even backing AJ Styles with the t-shirt, but I'm not going to predict him to win because
So
it's
who
Seth
you going with?
Rollins. He seems to have been built for this from the start.
It seems only temporary that he's going to be in Captain America. There's no other roles confirmed for him after this.
Yeah, I
So
mean, it would depend what job he does and what sort of reception it gets and whether he could actually be bearable on camera. Anyway, speaking of unbearable
so
people,
so I'm just putting there. Am I putting Seth for your prediction or am I putting AJ?
Put Seth for my
Seth.
prediction.
Seth. That's
Um,
fine.
speaking of unbearable, undesirable to undeniable versus unbearable to still unbearable. Cody Rhodes
I'm big draw.
versus Brock Lesnar. This match is going to suck. I'm sorry.
Yep.
It's Brock Lesnar in Saudi Arabia. It could go about 3 minutes. Brock Lesnar will win.
Yep. Same here. With no even need to jump on that one.
It's Brock Lesnar in Saudi Arabia. Has he ever been good in Saudi Arabia?
I think Roman has beaten last year.
Roman beat him, but it was all about Heyman. The match was terrible.
Yeah, you're right. But I'm going with Brock either way. Like, I don't see
Um,
any reason for this
I mean,
one, and it'll
Brock's
extend the
Saudi
feud.
matches. What did he do? Did he have the cage match with Roman,
Yeah, and then obviously Roman
which
flew
was
through the
terrible?
cage.
He had Kane Velasquez.
Not even going to go there.
That was terrible. What else did he do? Ricochet. That was absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
Killed Ricochet dead. Yeah,
Put it
it's
this way,
Brock
none of
Lesnar in
his
Saudi
match.
Arabia. I'm not
Yeah,
holding
they're
out
all shite.
any hope for it, and it's such a shame for Cody. But hopefully he gets written off, and he'll come back, and he'll get to throw Brock Lesnar in a meat grinder or something, and then he can press on.
Which we know isn't going to happen. Right. This one.
Tag.
Where do we go with this one? Because I ultimately think that it's the bloodline.
Yeah, yeah. I can't see past the Bloodline winning. I can't see past Roman Reigns pinning Kevin Owens.
Yeah. But Sammy also got
And
a huge pop as well.
yeah, and I equally can't get past Sami Zayn splitting with Kevin Owens at the end of the match.
I
They
know.
don't know what to do with this tag team. It's
I
once
know.
again, it's a tag team that was built on a moment. Now that moment was at WrestleMania. That moment was fantastic. It's an afterthought now. Beating the
Yeah.
Usos was an afterthought because the Usos are just a pawn in Roman's game. There's two pawns in Roman's game. So Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defeat the pawns, but they couldn't get the king. They could barely even get the bishop because they can't get Solo Sikoa. And when you do this, and it was
Mhm.
Shane who said this in our WhatsApp chat, and what he said was Roman Reigns isn't boring because he's boring. The
Mhm.
problem is that, and I am paraphrasing, the problem is that WWE won't build anyone else up.
That's right.
And especially right now, this is apt. Like, this is spot on the problem. Because the whole point of doing a story like you did was for
Mhm.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to deal with the henchmen and Cody to beat Roman. That was the whole point of the story. That was literally where it was going. You could hand that to 100 screenwriters, 100 of the best screenwriters in the world, 99 of them writes that Cody wins.
Exactly.
So, and we're in this weird post sort of hero-less era. Cody's busy getting demolished by Brock Lesnar. Matt Riddle does not have it in him. Sami Zayn's the natural hero here.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said last week, Kevin Owens is an albatross around his neck at this point because they don't know what they're doing. They booked them against Imperium twice. They've booked them against the Street Profits once.
Yeah, they have.
And the Judgment Day, I think, as well. What's happening here? You're just putting them up against the tag division in a way that makes us think, oh, you're going to be a tag team for the long run. They're not. They're running through all the matches that they can do already because they know this team's going to split up.
Yep.
And I've heard reports that apparently Kevin and Sami are waiting for DIY. That might not happen for a while yet.
It won't happen.
Tommaso Ciampa's unfortunately made of glass.
It's not going to happen, period, in my opinion.
I don't think so. I can't see it. Certainly not as champions. There's no way they keep these tag belts on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I can't see it. Roman Reigns is right there.
Yeah, 100%. And we all know what Roman's like in a situation. The only way that he doesn't win is if the Usos turn on him, and I don't think they're ready to do that yet. But
there's people, there's people saying Roman gets pinned tonight because it's the 1,000 days, and wouldn't that be funny?
Roman ain't getting pinned on the day
you
where he
can't have
celebrates
Roman
1,000.
get pinned and not lose the title.
Exactly.
Well, you have shat the bed at that point.
It's a poor cop-out. The only one who should be taking the pin is Solo if they're to lose, or it's a disqualification.
Oh,
that's it.
Disqualification finish to the main event. Yep, that always goes down really well.
I mean, it could certainly happen. Like, there's no...
It could.
There's
really
no way
don't
about
want it to, but it could.
I don't know.
I suppose my optimism isn't in this show because so far I've been a right Debbie Downer about it. No, the thing is, right, match 1's going to be good. Match 2, just based on the order we have here, this won't be the order of the card.
It won't be.
Match 2 there is going to be Brock Lesnar in Saudi Arabia. Match 3,
mixed
Roman's
view.
more captivating on the mic now than in the ring.
Yeah.
And I never thought I'd say that.
Me neither.
But yeah, I mean, as for the rest of this card, is there much else worth discussing? I mean, there could be a good match. I didn't even know who Rhea Ripley's challenger was. It's terrible.
It's the worst challenger of them all.
That's just terrible. Anyway, so Gunther and Ali.
I'm putting Bloodline. I'm putting Bloodline as my prediction, by the way.
Oh yeah, you may as well put me down for a slice of Bloodline. Yeah, I mean Gunther and Ali. I think this would be fun. I think this could be a sleeper pick for match of the night. I do think Bianca Belair is going to end up having it. Shock horror.
I think that match will be terrible.
What, the Belair and Asuka or Gunther and Ali?
Yeah. I think it will.
Interesting.
I'll explain why though. Of course, I'll explain why.
Well, I imagine we're both saying Gunther here.
Yeah, there's no way Ali win this. He's going to get chopped into oblivion.
I think that all Ali has to do for this match is go back and watch Gunther versus Ricochet. And then,
that's an interesting way around.
SmackDown. And then there you go. Do that.
So far, we have the same match predictions.
Yeah, well, let's see if it changes as we finally got a build for Bianca Belair and Asuka.
Yeah,
Asuka finally turned heel. And here we go. Do you reckon now's the time to take it off her?
I still expect Bianca to. I still expect that Bianca to win this one, but I don't think the match is going to be good.
Well, that's a bit of a shame. So you would think Bianca Belair is going to win this over Asuka?
I
Tough one.
don't think they don't know when to pull the trigger on when Bianca's to lose. They haven't got a clue.
They don't know when to pull the trigger on any of their champions to lose.
I know it's genuinely embarrassing.
They just don't know. They're in such a weird spot. Like, we're happy with all our champions, and you can be happy with all your champions. That's absolutely the case. But, and here's the important thing, people. Even when you're happy with all your champions, one of them has to lose. Otherwise, fans stop caring.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the way modern wrestling works. We can't have these 7, 8 year reigns anymore. You know, tell your stories, shock the fans a little bit, continue on. You know, the last surprising title change that you felt mattered and had like proper significance, what would you say?
I thought it was going to mean something. I would have said the tag titles at WrestleMania.
But the tag titles don't mean anything.
I know. I thought they would have done in this year alone, but they haven't.
No. So you're going.
As
Where are you going? Honestly, where does this.
I
The
don't think any.
last title change that had you genuinely like, whoa, okay,
I could
in
have said
WWE. And they barely change titles on B pay-per-views anymore.
I actually don't know. You know, that says a
They
lot.
go into a
I don't
holding
know.
pattern. The US title changes on Raw more than it does on pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
The IC title, and I'm not calling for Gunther to go, but we all knew Gunther was winning when he did. And I believe it was also on SmackDown.
Yeah, it was.
So there you go. Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously isn't Roman. And the US title, as I say, it's been thrown about for so long. The women's divisions, I mean, you had to know Rhea Ripley was winning.
Exactly. I don't think any champion's changing, by the way, apart from the tag titles.
No, no, probably not. But if I look at what's left, um, could could they go for Asuka though? Would they go for Asuka?
No.
Would Asuka be the champion? Could Asuka afford to lose again? Right, put
I
in for
think they
Asuka.
will. You're going Asuka, okay.
Yeah, I've convinced myself there. I think
That's
we
true.
need one of these wow title changes. I think if Asuka does it the right way, this could be it.
Not against that.
It would just be interesting. Asuka's been out the spotlight for so long. Let's get her into some matches. Get her into some feuds. Let's get this heel Asuka to actually matter. Where's the point of bringing her back as a heel
Yeah.
to
I
not
I
do
don't know.
anything with it, and then she'll just go back into the mid card, and you've wasted another opportunity with another great wrestler.
Yeah.
Is there any point discussing 6?
Yeah.
Or is it
I don't.
6?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley versus Natalia. I'm just going to put that as fuck off Natalia as my prediction.
Yeah, no, it's Rhea wins. it's going to be heatless. No one's going to care.
Yeah, and I'm going.
Dominic might get involved.
Probably.
Man, the more I read this card, the more I wonder what I was so excited for. Oh dear. And then match 7. I mean, so this is important, isn't it? I mean, we're gonna have 3 women's matches. We're gonna have a non-title women's match out in Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
So important stuff happening all round. And Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus would be a great match if you could drop Trish Stratus's age by 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
Do you think it's worrying that they've had to turn to Trish again?
Oh yeah, because it's because they don't know what they're doing when it comes to. It's because they don't know what they're doing when it comes to booking the women's division. They haven't got a clue.
Which is so weird because they have so many.
Yeah.
The problem was, I think, they brought Becky Lynch back at War Games.
They did, yeah.
And she had to be face.
Yes.
Now, what that means is, if Becky Lynch was heel, you could use her to get all those nothing baby faces on SmackDown or Raw now. I don't remember. I don't know where they went in the draft. But you know who I mean. Tegan Knox and
Useless.
Shotzi and
Terrible.
Raquel.
Boring as a face.
Okay, so if Becky's going to remain face, have Raquel as a heel.
I've been saying that for a while.
Put over some of the new ones instead of going, well, Lita's free, Trish is fine. Let's get them. Like, build these people. You draft these people, and then you do nothing with them.
Exactly.
And you wonder why people go to AEW. Like, why these wrestlers where you're like, oh, they're really good over there. Like, yeah, did you not think you could maybe have done that? And I'm not saying that everyone that's left WWE for AEW has been a success, but Tony Storm was part of the same sort of random draft as Shotzi and I don't think was Tegan Knox in that bit as well.
Yeah.
I think she might have been because she randomly came down with coloured hair, didn't she?
Yeah, she's so boring, Tegan.
Yeah, but Tony Storm then leaves, perhaps due to Charlotte, perhaps not, and became the AEW Women's Champion.
It's definitely down to Charlotte.
No, she became the real one, didn't she?
Yeah, she was interim, and then eventually they decided Thunder Rosa's not going to be around, so it needs to
interim, and then she became the proper AEW Women's World Champion. Yeah,
and then she loses it to Jamie, which is what everyone wanted.
Yeah, and that's fine. And I suppose when we get to AEW, we'll be talking about their lack of booking prowess. But yeah, I'm so concerned.
I don't care. I don't care if I get this one wrong, but I'm going for well, there's a word I'd use to describe Trish, but I'm not saying it on this show. But I'm going Trish to win because it's the only logical one for me. Becky winning would just be a typical thing, but I'd rather they have Trish win it because there's actually more to it.
I'm going with Becky winning because Trish is old.
She's older, but she actually works better than Becky. That says a lot to me.
Well, yeah.
But I'll say this as
I feel like we have this conversation often, but it would be so much better if they just stopped relying on part-timers and tried to build someone up and then include them and involve them and do stuff with them. And the other thing is, if you don't have anything for someone to do at that point, and you're like, okay, well, we have Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, and it's sort of nothing really.
All I'm going to say, and I actually do mean this, see for their entire women's division this year.
Yeah.
Trish Stratus has outperformed them all. She's outdone all of them. In terms of actually, not you can argue this all you want, and I know you're going to do this. I know you're going to argue, oh, but Bianca Belair is the best in WWE, or Rhea Ripley had a great match at WrestleMania. Yeah, but when you actually think about it, people are talking more about Trish Stratus because Trish Stratus actually tried to make the division relevant again.
I think people are talking about Trish Stratus because A, she has the name, and B, she's working with Becky. You put Bianca Belair on another program with Becky, I guarantee you people stop talking about Trish Stratus. The problem
No,
is they got Bianca
still wouldn't.
Belair treading water, and
They still
in
wouldn't.
this just absolutely nothing feud with Asuka.
The worst thing is,
Suddenly
though, is
back again.
Bianca's babyface run is now. I'd rather let paint dry. I'm sorry, but I'd rather let paint dry.
Here's the other point to that then. The women's division has been everyone versus Bianca Belair.
And
But
she's buried them all.
but then you wonder, like, why can't anyone else get involved here? That would be like if the whole bloodline was just against Cody.
Because it is pretty much.
And like Kevin and Sammy didn't get involved. And,
Yeah.
Well, Matt Riddle wasn't involved. Well, he was involved around the same time because he got injured. And the Brawling Brutes got involved against the bloodline. And these groups smacked and hit and bounced off each other. Bianca Belair's been sort of, okay, you do this now. Damage Control are annoyed at you again. Oh, now Asuka's annoyed at you again. What would be after she retains this time? Damage Control are annoyed at you again?
Exactly.
They're just, I feel like they're perhaps running out of ideas.
Oh, they have run out of ideas.
Yeah, so maybe it is time. You know something? Maybe it's time to get Asuka. But if Asuka wins, what did Damage Control do? They break up?
They don't know what they're doing with any of it. Categorically, they do not know what they're doing with any woman on that roster because they have someone that doesn't know how to book women.
Well, should there not be someone in there that does?
Yeah, Dutch Mantel.
Okay, is he still around?
Yeah, he's still around. He does podcasts every week.
Okay,
But he's still involved in
can't he do
wrestling. Because WWE won't bring him back unless he's called Zeb Coulter. And he hates
well, we
that.
could keep him off screen.
But he is generally like one of the best bookers for the women, like for women's wrestling. Like he's the reason that Impact are like, I know I say this in every single show, but it's the truth. He's the reason that they are still clear when it comes to booking women because they follow his model. They actually treat them like women's wrestlers, not, oh, gee, sure, yeah, but you can work a 5-minute match because it's on TV. We might cut you, but you never know. You might get something out of it. No, Triple H with your 55 veins. We want to actually see women being booked properly. That's why I don't think. That's why he can't book women properly. Doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, speaking of booking the women properly, it's time for a quick little detour into NXT, where Cora Jade is not wrestling for the women's championship.
Yeah, that annoys me, as you know.
Right. Let's try and be positive about NXT. We've had our rant, we've had our moan. What is there to be excited about here? Well, Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker rematch. That's going to be good.
Not one.
Oh, come on. We've got to try, Reece. We've got to try and be upbeat and positive.
I have nothing against these two guys, right? It's nothing to do with that. It's just see when it comes to this feud, it doesn't feel like they're doing enough for it. I don't think they should have had the rematch. I don't think they should have. I know Breaker's entitled to a rematch, but it's not clicking for me personally. I don't think they should have had this match at Battleground. I don't think they should have had it.
Fair. No, I get where you're coming from because I think Braun Breaker had sort of the send off that you would want him to have.
I thought it was going to be.
And especially when he came out on NXT and like laid out Carmelo and almost got booed for it, weirdly. And you're like, he's just actually he did get booed. People thought he was a heel. It's like
exactly.
he was screwed out of a title. he is well within his right to do this. So I struggled to boo him. But yeah,
I'm going for a title retain though. I don't see Braun Breaker reclaiming this and becoming the first three-time
I didn't
NXT
realize we were
champion.
predicting this.
I'm still doing it.
Okay, okay.
But
I'll happily sit out of that just 'cause I've sort of been following, sort of not really, and I'm maybe gonna watch this one. I'll maybe check out the comedy lot, but we'll be
yeah,
talking about them soon. Laura
yeah,
Valkyria versus Tiffany Stratton with no Cora Jade in sight. Well,
ridiculous.
she could get involved. It isn't going to do much.
Oh, she screws Tiffany Stratton.
If Cora Jade came out and attacked both of them and it led to a no contest, which led to a triple threat on the next episode of NXT,
I would
would you go for
definitely be
that?
happy. I would be happy with that because, in my opinion, Lyra and Tiffany should not be winning that ahead of Cora. I think
No.
Cora's best
so
placed.
naturally the best.
Yeah, like Tiffany Stratton is so green that she does a good moonsault, but everything else is clunky. But
I
because
feel
she
like the
looks,
NXT roster went sort of. It was so like the NXT women's division.
yeah,
You had like Mandy Rose when she was there, and sort of on her level was Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. And I
mhm,
felt like it was going to be one of those two.
exactly.
And Kaylee Ray as well. Well seasoned international star, Kaylee Ray. Yeah,
Mhm,
absolutely. Get her involved there
absolutely,
as well. And then the tier underneath has been very interchangeable. And
it
I
has been.
include the woman that won the ladder match, Indy Hartwell, in that.
She was excellent in that one. She was excellent.
Yeah, she was very good in the ladder match, but you can't say that about her overall NXT career.
Yeah, it was mixed match in between. But
Yeah.
what are you thinking though? What are you thinking? Are you going?
To
I would love your
I mean,
disqualification
to win
result
this,
on
okay,
entrance.
so match one, Carmelo Hayes probably retains. And
Hmm.
then, oh God, they've tried to build both these women at the same time, and I don't care about either of them. Tiffany
Me neither.
Stratton's got almost that Carmella quality to her now, where it's like coming back soon. Like there's been three or
Yeah,
four of those. Um, Tiffany Stratton, you could tie it in, you could do something fun. The Barbie movie's coming out soon, so I'm sure WWE would love to get their hands on some partnership stuff with that. Laura
yeah.
Valkyria, sort of more gothic, a darker sort of presence.
But it steals the whole look of Cora Jade because she is that. She is the more gothic sense on the entire roster.
Yeah, no. I mean, I feel like Tiffany's a more natural opponent for Cora Jade down the line. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Tiffany. So Tiffany Stratton to win.
As much as I don't want her to, I do agree. I don't think Lyra's got anything on this one. She's a more
I don't think they'll be able to resist the Barbie tie-in because I think if they come knocking, WWE will absolutely go.
we
Tiffany
can have.
Stratton might have it in her entrance.
Yeah, we can have Plastic as champion, even though we don't want it. Right.
Well, that's her. Like the thing is, I'm not trying to insult her there. That is her gimmick. Her gimmick
She
is
is.
a Barbie girl.
Yeah. And
Like
it actually
it is
does work.
basically that. It's like Mean Girls meets Barbie,
Yeah. It does
and it
work.
just
It's just that
yeah,
she's just so green, but she delivers a moonsault perfectly, but she's
yeah.
just still
It's
so
weird.
green in
She's
the
like one of
ring.
these people that does the complicated stuff really good,
But the
but the
easy stuff,
simple
it's
stuff she
embarrassingly
struggles
funny.
with. Anyway,
Exactly.
this third
Will be
match
this is
could
the
be
one
the
I'm looking
match of
forward
the
to.
day, like the match of the
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah. This is
Don't
one of
Barn
the two
Dragon Lee.
matches.
This will be really good.
This is
It's
one of
tough
the
to
two
decide who
matches
wins though.
Battleground I'm excited for.
What's him?
I was just saying there. Sorry, this is one of the two matches on this entire card that I'm looking forward to the most.
Um, yeah. No, to be fair, I think I'm looking forward to this card more than the Night of Champions.
Yeah, but Dragon Lee and Noam Dar, literally pound for pound, are fantastic athletes for their weight class.
Yeah,
Like they just make
absolutely.
they just understand a match and how it operates, and they have great storytelling, but also they have a balanced move set that catches you off guard. But when it comes to the fact it's British round rules, that makes it even more interesting. I think if you think about it in a logical sense, I think British round favours Noam Dar more.
Yeah.
But it's so unpredictable to call. I think Dragon Lee might win this as an unpredictable result. But I really like both. But I would rather Dragon Lee goes over. But
I don't. I think Noam Dar's got to start with the defence.
you think he's got to defend it?
Yeah, I think Noam Dar's got to win here. Dragon Lee's an interesting one, but it seems like he's younger than you would think. Dragon Lee, like he is very young. He can afford to get beat a few times, especially in British round rules. Something he's not familiar with.
That's why I still crazy think he wins. That's why I still crazy have that feeling he wins, because it's that unpredictability. But it's worth it. The next match,
I get that, but then what are you doing on Dar?
I agree. I think if Noam Dar was to lose to Dragon Lee, I think the logical explanation is he goes into the next match. Like, he goes into the follow-up of the next match of the North American title. Because already I'm ruling out one name.
I'm really annoyed about this North American title match.
I'm ruling out Tyler Bate immediately.
In an ideal world, I'd rule Joe Gacy out of the match. And I'd just have Wesley versus Tyler Bate. Joe Gacy doesn't need to be here. The dyad is rubbish. The schisms sucked. He has had his apex.
Yeah.
When Joe Gacy kidnapped Rick Steiner, that was the apex. That was as over as he was going to get. He's ruined Grizzled Young Veterans with the stupid stable.
Yeah.
He's borderline about to ruin The Rock's daughter, and I don't mean that in a dirty way.
No, you're right in the sense of where you were thinking of, because you think logically, not anything else. But continue.
And he is awful. He is not good at the wrestling.
He's just charismatic. He's just charismatic. That's it. He is charismatic. He's the new
Bray Wyatt. He's got charisma and no in-ring.
Yeah. So
in fact, that's harsh on Bray Wyatt, because Bray Wyatt did have a little bit of in-ring a long time ago.
Yeah, like 12 years ago. A very long time ago. So I think, logically, we're both in agreement that it's Wesley to retain.
Wesley's got to retain. Surely.
He is very, very good.
Wesley has taken this ball and run with it, and I just really admire it.
Yeah, he is excellent. The next match is literally, this is power meets extreme levels of endurance.
Yeah,
extreme levels. This is Dijak Djokovic's extreme level of power versus Ilja Dragunov's extreme levels of endurance.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But that's not taken away from Dijak, because Dijak can go the distance as
well.
No,
one issue I've got with Dijak is the fact that he's not really won for a while. Not of any sort of importance. I mean, he got beaten to a pulp by Tony D'Angelo. And he lost to Wesley.
He did, yeah.
So, he broke his finger in that match as well.
He did. He did, yeah.
And Ilya Dragunov, meanwhile, has seemed to be this guy that they were sort of grooming for the NXT World Title. Or, as it was leaked a couple of weeks before the draft, he was going to get drafted up to SmackDown. And then, card subject to change, they didn't do it.
Exactly.
So, I mean, in terms of what are we thinking? Dragunov or Dijak? I think Dragunov wins because Dijak hasn't won.
So do I. I don't think Ilja needs to win this one.
Dijak doesn't need to win again, seemingly. The way that they're treating him.
I do feel
Just a
sorry for him
sort
because
of
I've always liked him. I've always liked him.
named jobber, really.
I know.
Anyway, we're about to get onto the Comedy Roadshow, but we've got one more match to discuss here. Gallus versus the Creed brothers. This
So
should
aye,
be better than it sounds.
it should be.
I feel like it's just because it's the Creed brothers and they don't carry that. Oh, we need to see the Creed brothers. They're fine. Don't put them in an ambulance match, and they're fine. Gallus are good. This
Oh yeah.
this should be good. This should be a solid tag match. Nothing to
Are you
write home
going?
about.
Are you going tag title defense or are you going new champions?
Feel like they've been there with the Creed brothers, so Gallus retain.
Same.
I don't know who they. Maybe Dragon Lee and Axiom form a team through mask solidarity.
I would not be against that.
No, it'd be a fun tag team. Anyway, so that is NXT. We spoke a little longer than planned about that, but yeah.
That's okay.
So that must have been it. NXT must be the show that I'm like, yeah, let's watch some NXT. Let's see some good wrestling.
Yeah. Now for
this. So just to reveal something here, we don't have a match card for AEW. Reece, do you wanna explain this one?
yeah, so I went to look for the full match card to share screen, and it's already been edited by Jim Cornette fans, as you can tell, to mug off certain wrestlers. So I'm not, as much as I love Jim Cornette, I'm not giving him the time of day today. So I've done all the matches as banners and are going to come on screen. So I do not know the specific order. So because of that, we're just going to go from the order of the matches I've put on the banners. So the first one is the match that I called ages ago would be a pointless match. It only should be the first two names. But I'm starting to think there might be a difference out of it because I'm thinking Jungle Boy might turn heel. If Jungle Boy turns heel, then this match has something on it as a pull off. But in hindsight, it should just be MJF versus Darby Allin. And I'm just in general like this match can only go one of two ways. It somehow works, or it really lets all four men down. And in hindsight, and I say this with a lot of respect, I don't like Sammy Guevara. I've said this for a long time. I don't like Sammy Guevara. Jungle Boy is a hit and miss. Darby Allin, I do find is entertaining, but the high extreme spots he does, he will be in a wheelchair if he continues to keep going. Even though he's very committed to his work, I credit for that. MJF is a good wrestler, but as a world champion, he sucks.
Yeah,
because he does not draw. He does not draw as world champion.
It has failed. It has categorically at this point failed.
Yeah.
AEW can't even draw their million with MJF on top.
They drew it with Punk and Hangman Page, which says a lot.
I think they were drawn with Punk and MJF potentially, but
yeah,
Punk's there, and he's the reason that they were getting a million. I mean, certainly like Bryan Danielson isn't, because he's still around.
Exactly.
It's Punk's the guy that was bringing it, and MJF can't bring it, and it's sad, but he's also partly to blame for that. He hasn't kept himself interesting. His promos have been samey. He's hardly been wrestling. You got to remember that when he was the biggest rating draw, he was also on pretty much every week.
I know, and that's not the case anymore.
Now that he's a part-time champion, and I know I say part-time because what? He's a full-time wrestler. He's not doing the movies or anything. He did do a movie recently.
He did.
And B, he's still not there all the time.
Yeah,
and
he's taking.
I don't like this notion that the world champion has to go away.
Yeah, they should.
I'm the world champion, and now I won't be on the show every week. No.
And
The
they're
world
bringing back
champion be on the show every week.
I don't know if you. I know. I don't know if you watched Dynamite. I don't know if you did, but on Wednesday he did refer back to his classic promo of, "Well, my contract expires next year." He's already gone back to those promos
Yeah,
again.
yeah, he's got that thing. That is it. He's like, boo me because I'm leaving.
Yeah,
Okay, well, be sure to drop that belt on your way out, Maxwell. I think the fans have accepted it, and I think the fans have also accepted they don't necessarily care if he goes.
yeah,
Which is ludicrous because he is such a talent, but
he is. He's
I,
brilliant.
I don't I don't think AEW's fans really care. Your Jungle Boy point was interesting to me because obviously Rush killed him on TV last week.
Uh-huh.
So I don't see Jungle Boy as a credible threat to anyone in this match.
I think he has to. I think he has to post match somehow turn heel. I think he could
Um,
still. I think he could turn heel by doing what MGF told him. We could run this place, but
do you reckon Tony Khan might be in a state of panic, keen to have MJF drop this belt tonight
I
to
think
Darby
so. But
Allin?
I think so. But the only thing is, right? I don't think they'll pull the trigger. I don't think they'll pull the trigger because there's one glaring name that's right there for the taking. That no disrespect to Darby Allin, Darby Allin should be competing for the TNT title, like that sort of level. It's not that. It's not saying that he's not. It's not saying that Darby Allin's not a main eventer. Darby Allin actually could be a
Darby
very
Allin could win the belt and Sting could wipe him out.
exactly. Except Sting's not going to turn heel.
Oh,
Like
come
that will.
on.
He's not
He has
gonna
to
come.
leave Sting's shadow at some point. What better than retiring him as the world champion? You do Darby Allin versus Sting, title versus career. And Darby Allin wins.
Possibly, but I just feel like that's just like the go-to thing. Oh, we've got a legend. We know he's going out, so you've got to do it in this way. I would rather Sting just leaves. Like he just has like a match where what I want this year, right? I said it a while ago to a friend. What I want Sting's last match to be in London, and his last match is versus Dustin Runnels, and they both retire in the same match.
Ah,
Doesn't matter who wins, who loses. He has to retire himself because he's been going far too long.
okay. Not
But
bad. I mean, we're
but I
not
would
giving
rather.
Guevara a hope in hell, and we're not giving Jungle Boy the time of day. So
I
MJF wins. So MJF retains or Darby Allin wins, and let's be
I think
honest, they're probably sticking with MJF.
I think in the match, Jungle Boy will take out Sammy Guevara, still as the babyface, like the babyface saying he's working baby. He gets rid of Sammy Guevara because obviously Sammy Guevara is a heel, and then at that point he just flips the switch and he takes out Darby Allin. MJF retains, and Jungle Boy just leaves the ring. But he never said the interesting thing is the reason why I think this as well is Darby Allin never said Jungle Boy never said specifically he was winning the title at Double or Nothing, but he said he's leaving with the title. He could
Oh,
easily he could easily just take the title and walk.
great, great. We're doing it that way, are we? Jungle Boy. Should he be a heel? I think Jungle Boy's a heel is just going to be like Sammy Guevara, like
He
an
needs to
obnoxious,
change something. He has to change
arrogant
something.
guy you just want to slap right in the face. Anyway,
Mhm.
I think we're both saying MJF here,
Yep, I'm going title retain.
right?
The next one though
And
is the next match will actually be considerably more fun to talk about, I think.
okay, well, potentially, let's find out what it is.
The next match is for the AEW World Tag Team titles. It's FTR versus Lethal and Jarrett with Mark Briscoe as special guest referee. And the reason I actually think this match will be better is because Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal have outdone FTR in AEW.
No, my God.
They're actually drawn, by the way. That's not even a
This
joke.
sucks.
FTR suck as champions. They can't lead.
No, it all sucks. Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett being with Sanjay and Satnam sucks. Tony Khan's seeming, I wonder why Tony Khan feels the need to always bury FTR, and could it be to do with the EVPs that he's got?
I don't think it's because I don't think FTR are getting buried. FTR just aren't leading this as expected.
No, I think FTR have definitely been buried, and I think they've only put the belts on FTR now when the fans don't care anymore. Because if you don't think about WWE fans with CM Punk, right? It was absolutely rife throughout the fan base. Anything goes wrong, CM Punk, CM Punk. Then it was some things go wrong and there's a little CM Punk here or there. And now it's like the really bad things get CM Punked. But it's more just that's our chant of disapproval. We don't actually want CM Punk to come back. It's just the chant that we say when we're really unhappy. It's like a BS chant. It's like a boring chant. It's like a beat the crap out chant.
I know.
FTR were buried when they were the most over. They were hidden on Rampage. They were hidden on Ring of Honor. They were hidden with the Briscoes, which they wouldn't talk about on AEW. They would barely give the Briscoes the time of day.
I know.
And now they're like, well, FTR, if you're these great world tag team champions, go and defend the belts. Yeah, you haven't built them at all. And you've got your own little like pool where the EVPs are like, we're not touching that because that's Southern wrestling. And that's why Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal are working a program with FTR. That's why the Young Bucks have never worked a program with Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. That's why Kenny Omega won't work with Jay Lethal or Jeff Jarrett. None of that clique wants to be involved there because I do think
it's disparaging. I think it's disparaging though on Lethal and Jarrett when they actually do work good matches though.
Jay Lethal's a fantastic worker. I don't need to see Jeff Jarrett anymore.
And I get your point because he is older and he is a veteran, but he's actually not done any. I don't think he's actually done anything wrong.
And I've seen him on his back more than a cheap crack whore.
That's just too much.
No, he loses all the goddamn time.
True, but
why would I care?
But when you do think about it, I don't think you can argue, all due respect, I don't think you can argue this one. I get your point about him losing, but the match he's actually in, they're actually
he's a fundamentally good wrestler. It also really doesn't help.
But then again, there is no one for
FTR win this, I think.
They should, but there's nobody else to come at them after this.
Do you think Tony Khan's going to be enough of an idiot to turn Mark Briscoe heel?
Turning Mark Briscoe heel would be very exciting.
What do you mean?
For one, it's unpredictable about how Mark Briscoe goes as a heel. It's unpredictable.
How would you turn him? Okay, and I'm just putting it out there, okay? Because if it was this sort of deranged, guilt-ridden Mark Briscoe and this grief-riddled Mark Briscoe that turned heel, I think that could be very powerful.
That's the only realistic option.
He joins Jeff Jarrett's side and starts like cheating and the underhand tactics and stuff and becomes an obnoxious heel that does music videos. This is a guy whose real life brother, if I messed that up, tragically died very recently.
Ago, yeah. Yep.
If Tony Khan can't get a sympathetic babyface out of Mark Briscoe, then your comments last week look even dumber. This is an open goal for a babyface wrestler. Real life tragedy.
I know.
And people like to get on WWE's back for what they did with Rey Mysterio regarding the Eddie Guerrero thing. But guess what? It worked.
Unfortunately.
So lean into it. Lean into Mark Briscoe as a sympathetic babyface. You don't have to mention it all the time. Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
But do not turn Mark Briscoe heel in this match.
If they did, though, that would be That would
If they
it would.
did, there better be a promo where he explains that it's about the loss of his brother.
Yeah.
And that it's about making up for lost time, and like we don't know how much time we've got left, and your life can change in a moment.
Yeah.
Then he should go for one of the singles titles and probably the world title.
And potentially win it. The next one's actually, I'm not sure how this one's going to go, but there is a guy in this match that fits the gimmick match, but also I've never once complained about his work. Versus a man who's like, well, it's back on you again. Do I want to see this? And I'm hoping it's the heel that wins. It's Wardlow versus Christian Cage for the TNT title in a ladder match.
Yeah, I hope Christian wins.
I don't have any issues with Wardlow, but I'm bored. I'm bored of Wardlow holding this title. It seems to be the only thing he's actually there for.
Yeah,
And it's ridiculous.
he's there to keep TNT title warm, but I don't think Christian beats him for it.
The thing is, right, is to keep it warm. Keep it warm for who? That's the question. It's not going to be Hook.
No, it keeps the title warm so that you can see it on Collision. There's no clear challenger to it yet.
I know.
Tony Khan will write that on a napkin by his bedside and he'll go with it.
It's why I'd rather have Hook be champion. But I like
Hook
the
at least
idea of
be
Christian doing
something
it.
they could build.
Yeah.
Or Ricky Starks, who was very good, and now they've just buried him too. Fantastic. Love that. Did that have to do with being Cody's mate? I
know.
I wonder. It's all very petty over in AEW land. Anyway, I think Wardlow retains. We're going to have to speed this up a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is okay, because we don't have much to say about most of these matches.
Yeah. The only singles match on the card with no gimmick.
Yep, the only non-gimmick match. The fans won't care. The people watching at home will struggle to care as well.
This has to be a short match. This has
It'll
to be very short.
15 minutes because
it has to be less.
Tony Khan will get the thing pointed. Tony Khan really cares about his ego, okay? And if people start going, you don't give the women time.
This match can't go distance though. This match can't go more like 15 minutes or more because Jamie Hayter is not fully fit to compete.
Yeah, so they'll use run-ins. They've got a female NWO there.
Mm-hmm. This has got to be 10 minutes. 10 minutes or just more than that. It's nothing against these two. If once she's fully fit to compete, this should be an automatic rematch. But this has to be quick.
If Jamie Hayter isn't fit to compete, why should she win?
They shouldn't have it moved over.
If she's not fit to compete, why should she compete?
No idea. No idea.
Would WWE be getting the same sort of, oh well, if we heard tonight Rhea Ripley's unfit to compete, but she's going to?
Yeah, to a degree. But Jamie Hayter's not losing the title to Toni Storm.
If it depends how unfit to compete she is.
Even if she's not fully fit, they're not having it because I think it's going to be Hayter versus
Why
Cargill.
is she working a match if she's not fully fit?
It's Jamie Hayter. Pride over anything else, really.
She's not Cody.
That's because she's smarter than Cody. Cody's a collegiate dumbass. I mean, he's wrestling with an arm. A fucked up arm.
It's just poor. It's just poor.
All round.
Jamie Hayter probably does win. But hey, Tony, your company doesn't have 30-day clauses in the contracts.
Neither does WWE.
If Jamie Hayter isn't fit, just don't book her.
Yep. WWE are the same, by the way.
You've got other people there. Toni Storm could have a match with Britt Baker that's non-title.
Exactly. Could have done.
Maybe Britt Baker defends it in Jamie Hayter's honour.
Oh, that would be a beginning of the heel turn.
Wouldn't that have been good?
Possibly.
No, never mind. What? So, I mean, I think Jamie Hayter wins that anyway. Definitely watching NXT because this can melt. I hate everyone involved in this match. And I
Go
mean
on.
that, even about Bryan Danielson. I hate all, is it 10? Or is it just 8?
8.
It's 8. I hate all 8 of these people. I don't know who I'd rather win. I think I'd rather it was a stalemate, just draw, because everyone's so beaten up they can't do anything. The first Anarchy in the Arena was awful, and I felt the same way. I didn't like any of the guys. And again, Bryan Danielson was there, but they've made me hate Bryan Danielson. It's really miserable. And I don't care about Don Callis. I don't care if Takeshita's coming back, and I don't even care if Kota Ibushi's showing up tonight. This is being the elite on television.
It was going to get to Anarchy in the Arena anyway because of how the whole thing's been going for quite some time. It was going to happen, and it's already the biggest storyline they've got. It's bigger than the 4 pillars by
The
a
only
landslide.
storyline that they think they've got. John Moxley calls it the apex of pro wrestling. Kenny Omega says there's nothing better than it. It's probably about the 17th time Kenny Omega's said that in his career. But, that's fine. We don't worry about that. We just consume content and then wait for next content. That's the elite's way of booking wrestling.
They just love story more than anything else.
No, they just love doing stuff that gets people talking, but for no reason. The only reason people are talking about this match is because it's this match. No one, I guarantee you, no one cares who wins this. Because if John Moxley and his heelish Blackpool Combat Club with their screwdrivers win, John Moxley has a lot of fans. And if the Elite win, well, the Elite have a lot of fans. A lot of them are the same fans. That's kind of their problem. That's why they can't get new fans. That's why their TV shows getting lower and lower in the ratings.
It's a fair point.
Yeah, it was like you seem to be formulating an argument there. I was like, go on, what's your counter?
It's not much of a counter, but it's more of the sense that after this Anarchy in the Arena, where realistically could they go? Because the one thing they can't do realistically, and I actually stand by this,
I know exactly where I'd send them. Anyway, go on.
You cannot go from the Elite versus Blackpool Combat Club Anarchy in the Arena to the Elite versus Blackpool Combat Club at Blood and Guts, because both of these match types, to a degree, are feud enders.
Oh, they seem to be building a women's Blood and Guts.
I think they're going to go women's Blood and Guts. Yeah, I think they're going Outcast versus the Originals, and I expect Britt Baker to turn on the Originals, so she can stick it to Jamie Hayter once and for all. But other than that, I'm just not sure.
Oh my word! Right, what else?
I'm not giving you the pajama.
Bryan Danielson more than Wee Danielson from Karate Kid. Okay, Trevor, I'm going to show my age here. I don't know who that is.
Nah.
I don't. Karate Kid. That's one of those movies that's really old, isn't it?
1980s. Yes,
yep,
I've got all of them.
That'll explain it. No, never seen that.
And obviously, Cobra Kai is the Netflix follow-up series, which is actually quite good.
I can't believe they've made me hate Bryan Danielson. He used to be one of my favourites in the world, and I now can't actually stand him.
To be fair, this is where they were always going, and he pitched this, by the way.
You know me out. I can't remember who Ring of Honor's world champion is.
Claudio Castagnoli.
Okay, still. So that's really good, that.
He's in this match.
Yeah, so we're putting a world champion as the third most important guy in his team.
And the pure champion as well.
It's not good enough, but I accept your answer.
You've got three
Trevor.
champions. You've got three champions in this match.
Yeah, and John
We
Moxley's a champion between his
No, not
left ear
him.
and his right ear.
No, not him. Wheeler Yuta's still the pure champion for Ring of Honor. Claudio
I knew
Castagnoli is
that.
still the world champion.
I forgot that.
Kenny Omega is still the IWGP US champion.
No.
And
Oh,
he's
oh,
scheduled
that
to go,
thing. The thing
and
he beat Osprey for.
he's scheduled to go back over to Japan very soon to face the winner of the US title series, like the US title number one contender series. He's going
Yeah,
back over.
yeah, that weird thing they've been doing, yeah.
So he's got a lot to come for on that one.
Yeah, anyway, was there, is that our, no, there's the Adam Cole match, isn't there?
Yes, before we get to that, we've got
Yeah,
this one.
very quickly on this. Absolutely F everyone involved in this match. Before I even see the names on it, F everyone involved in this match. Orange Cassidy's going to retain, and all 20 of you are going to look like complete idiots when you lose to the guy with his hands in his pockets. Moving on.
What's even better is I just love the response to that when even some of the top Japanese talents, legendary ones, want to work with this man, and that'll blood your boil your blood, I should say.
That'll blood my boil. It'll blood my boil. It'll boil my blood. It'll burn my bananas.
What is your favorite year of wrestling? Put it this way, not this one.
You go back to what you love, don't you? But I mean, if you're going to count NXT Black and Gold as its own era, absolutely. If you're not, I go to Ruthless Aggression, and I know that is really, really bad and an awful take and horrible. But I really like Ruthless Aggression. It's what I grew up on.
Yep.
Um,
I would still say Attitude Era because Attitude Era had more compelling stars
well,
than
again,
Ruthless Aggression
that's
did.
what we grew up on. I mean, you're what, 35?
I'm 26.
I know. Anyway, so
Cheeky bastard.
so
This
then
is
Chris
this is
Jericho
a
and Adam Cole, unsanctioned match. I believe I said Adam Cole was going to fight Chris Jericho as his first feud back, which was just me randomly pulling it out of the dark.
But it's actually been invested into interest. It's actually been invested into something. They've actually
Yeah,
made.
it'll be okay. It would be better if Chris Jericho didn't have a stable of absolute nobodies.
I disagree because.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Oh, I
Really
guess I
classic
agree. I
clips.
agree some of this. I agree with some of this. The part I disagree of is when wrestlers were wrestlers because Hulk Hogan was never a wrestler.
Oh, come on. You've seen him work in Japan.
Aye, when he actually knew how to work. Comes to
You
WWE,
know,
and
he
he's like,
once worked 400 days in a year. Don't take
I
that from
know.
me. Take that from Hulk Hogan.
He also manifested a lot of bullshit, but we all know that's Hogan.
That's true. That's true. Anyway, what are we saying for Adam Cole and Chris Jericho? I think this match will be okay.
I was the first man to body slam Andre the Giant. Believe it. In terms of that one, I think it will be Adam Cole because there's more riding on it, especially with the whole Britt Baker, the Britt Baker stuff. I think there's more riding on it, but I think Chris Jericho will use that emotion really well.
Okay.
It's something that Jericho actually does really well when he gets into someone's head. Is he does do emotion really well, and for that, I see two sides to one coin. Like it's in a way, there's two sides to one coin about who wins this, but I think it's purely down to the emotional tangent. I want Cole to win because then Adam Cole will then go on, hopefully be world champion. I think he's the right man to be world champion. But again, Chris Jericho is still, whether you love the guy or hate the guy, Chris Jericho is still a top star for a reason. Because he still is.
Is part of your concern that because Chris Jericho lost on TV, that part of the deal was that he wins here?
Maybe.
That would be my only concern. I'll say Adam Cole, but I can absolutely see where they're going if they decide that Chris Jericho needs to win.
I
Chris
can see
Jericho gets
why they
nothing out
would.
of winning again. You continue to build Adam Cole if he wins, so it seems obvious. But Tony Khan doesn't like obvious.
Yeah,
Uh,
we all know what he's done.
All-in package, even the private DVDs.
We
All
all know
right,
full.
sun's still up. We can't be talking about those.
Exactly. I'm going with Adam Cole, by the way.
Yeah, is that the end of our? I mean,
We
we've
have
done the
we
world
have
title
one
match.
more, and that's the trios tag match, and then that's it.
Oh, yay!
I'm saying it right now already. House of Black retain
House of Black retain.
because they are genuinely fantastic.
Yep, they claim they're no longer over, not nearly to the same extent.
Too much scissoring.
Yeah, yeah, precisely. They had one joke.
I know.
Anyway, so that was
All
three
three.
shows previewed in under an hour and a half. So if the boss man is watching, and you should be, and I'm not talking about Ray Trailer, rest in peace, of course. If the boss man is watching, we are under the hour and a half previewing three shows. So you're welcome. Anyway, Reece, you got any final words before we head into this weekend of wrestling entertainment?
Do have the Night of Champions opener. So that'll be when the show starts at 6 o'clock. Fuck the preview show. I'm not watching that. But the world title match we will do as a actual match opener on the channel. So we will do that, and then, but other than that, it's just a quiz tomorrow. That's it, really.
Yeah, so be sure to tune in to Reece Devil's Rising. I'm sure you'll put it on the screen if you've got the the
Oh yes, sorry, one
capability, the
second. Yeah,
credentials. Just to chuck your handle on the screen there so people know where to go for the wrestling quiz, the football quiz tomorrow. I went automatic there. So for the football quiz tomorrow. But yeah, this has been a lot of fun. A little longer than we usually aim for these, but I mean, we had what, 6, 14, 24 matches to talk about. And I think an hour and 22 minutes for that isn't half bad. Really enjoyed having the rant as ever. We do enjoy having these rants. I know that it can be quite negative, but we try to have fun with it as well.
I
I hope
agree.
that my AEW coverage isn't too negative. It really, really annoys me. Thinking the boss man, even I think he's Mr. Big. He already does. I think we know that.
Not on this
Anyway,
show. Not on this show, but
you hold down the fort. Anyway, this has
absolutely.
been a lot of fun, people. And yeah, hopefully there's a lot to enjoy tonight. And if not, there will be a lot to talk about and get mad about again next week on the Steel Chair. Reece, take us home.
Absolutely. To everyone that's watched, thank you very much. We will be back on my own in 60 minutes time. Oh, sorry, less over 60 minutes time, I should say. I'll start bang on. I'll start at 5 to 6. So we'll start as the show kicks off, and then we will cut it after the world title match is over. It's just to get involved and just enjoy the match as it goes, and then a short reaction. Then we'll just cut. We'll just cut after that, but we'll see who wins the world title. But other than that, not interested in the rest of the show. I'm only interested in one match. But to everyone that's watched, thank you so much, and we will see you again soon. Au revoir.